Hey everyone, Seth Campbell here with the new Segue Says podcast. Well, in this episode, we have the first appearance of an artist in this podcast, and then a returning artist that we've seen several times before. The new artist is Panic at the Disco, or as the punctuation in the band title would suggest, it should be pronounced Panic at the Disco. And the returning artist, who was seen in our very first episode and has appeared several times since then, is Fleetwood Mac. And the two songs are Ballad of Mona Lisa, that's Panic at the Disco, and Peacekeeper by Fleetwood Mac. The Fleetwood Mac song is much more obscure. These are two very descriptive songs, very visually descriptive lyrics, very dark tone to them. They're both in G minor, both have a similar tempo. So, as always, we're going to go into the mechanics of each song a little bit. Ballad of Mona Lisa, the Panic at the Disco song, is, I believe it's on the Vices and Virtues record, which is the first record where Brendan Urie had fully sort of taken over as the lead songwriter. I gotta tell you, I saw Panic at the Disco do a double bill show with Weezer up in the middle of nowhere, New Hampshire, and it was absolutely incredible. Both the bands, I think, that are so much more talented than people give them credit for. Brendan Urie, this guy has like a 4.5 octave, I think, vocal range. He played guitar, drums, grand piano. He did a backflip off the drum riser. Is just thinking that, like, save a little talent for the rest of us, man. I mean, how are we supposed to compete with this? And like right away, I had never so much as heard a Panic at the Disco song. I was there because my family's big. A lot of us like Weezer, so we went to see Weezer. So I'd never seen Panic at the Disco before. And right away I was thrilled by the showmanship, but this was the song that I think, wow, there's some seriously good songwriting here too. And it's there's a great live performance on the live album that recently came out. All My Friends Were Glorious, I think it's called. So it's my interpretation of the lyric. I think it's kind of like a dirtier, darker version, kind of a similar story to Candle in the Wind by Elton John, sort of the beautiful, glamorous woman that everybody sees who, thinks she's so beautiful and so perfect and has the world at her feet and the darkness in her life behind the curtain. That's my interpretation of it. And a verse pre-chorus, chorus. That pre-chorus will become important for the segue. Goes something like this. She paints her nails with a close precision. He starts to notice empty bottles of gin. Takes a moment to assess the sin she's paid for. A lonely speaker in a conversation. The words are swimming through his ears again. There's nothing wrong with just a taste of what you paid for. Say what you mean, tell me I'm right. The sun beat down on me. Show me a sign, I want to believe. Whoa, Mona Lisa, you're guaranteed to run this town. Whoa, Mona Lisa, I pay to see you frown. So you can kind of hear it, the idea that this woman, the Mona Lisa. And I love that line because there's so many songs, including, Taking Pictures. Shout out to Joe Laurie, one of the greatest songwriters of the modern era. Taking pictures of Mona Lisa's smile, Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa. So many songs, stories about, and theories about the Mona Lisa's smile. And this turns that literally upside down. I'd pay to see you frown. I think it's just a great lyric. So as you hear, it's a very sort of dark and gritty song. And Peacekeeper is a similar mood, but for different reasons. It's a little more, I guess you could say, political almost. It's from the album Say You Will, which came out in 2002 or 3. I want to say 2003. It was the band at the time was Lindsey Buckingham, Stevie Nicks, John McVie, and Mick Fleetwood. So Christine McVie was the only one of the central five that wasn't there, although she does backing vocals on a couple of the songs. It's a long story. It was originally a Lindsey Buckingham solo record that she was on, and long story. But, you know, a lot of people kind of dismiss this album as a band past their prime. You know, it's not the core five. You know, people aren't really interested, but it's really good. It's a long album. It has a lot of songs and a lot of really good songs, and this is one of my favorites. Incidentally, for those wanting, count me among the people who's disappointed that Lindsey Buckingham isn't in Fleetwood Mac anymore. You know, it's hard to tell what the reasons are, and the performances I hear with Mike Campbell and Neil Finn are going great, and I don't want to take anything away from that, but you know, but that's another story for another day. So this is a song that on the Live in Boston 2004 concert film, Lindsey Buckingham introduced with a quote. I think I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but it's something like, if there's no love, there's always justice. If there's no justice, there's always force. And this is a song, you know, it's kind of about that force. It's it's almost like orders from those on high to the peacekeepers, if you will, whether that's police or military or some combination is unclear, but it's, you know, very clearly, you know, the order to go out and, I guess, corral any uprising or rebellion. And it goes a little something like this.
Sons the same, everyone will suffer the fire we made, and they all explode just the same. Now there's no going back on the plans we laid. Peacekeeper, take your time, wait for the dark of night. Soon all the suns will rise. Peacekeeper, don't tell why. Don't be afraid to fight. Love is a sweet surprise.
Incidentally, that line I'm playing on piano there is done, I think, with a talk box on the guitar. It sounds kind of like a duck, honestly, in the song. Suns will rise. Wah, 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 wah. You're like the adults in Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. It's definitely jarring. But lest you think that that's not quite as dark as I made it sound, let me give you the bridge, which will also figure into the segue.
When the night is cold and still, and you thought you had your fill, take all the time you will. This is not a test, it's not a drill. Take no prisoners, only kill.
So yes, very dark. But very powerful, and the harmonies with Buckingham and Nicks are just incredible. So the whole album is worth checking out. That song is a good, I think it's a good sample, if you will, of what that record kind of feels like. So now to the segue. This is one that, in spite of the kind of the darkness and the the moods of the lyrics, because usually that kind of precludes this, you can, and I like to, do one into the other, back into the first one. I like to do Mona Lisa into Peacekeeper, back into Mona Lisa. Now, the key parts of this, as I mentioned, involve the chorus and pre-chorus of Ballad of Mona Lisa, and the bridge of Peacekeeper, but more specifically how those parts are used to end the song. Now, the Ballad of Mona Lisa normally ends, there's a bridge, there's another pre-chorus, and there's a chorus, Whoa, Mona Lisa, you're guaranteed to run this town. Whoa, Mona Lisa, prepare to see you frown. And then a rehash of the pre-chorus, but over the chord changes of the chorus. So it's a new melody, but it's the lyrics of the pre-chorus. Say what you mean, tell me I'm right, and let the sun rain down on me. Show me a sign, I wanna believe. I mentioned Brendan Urie has a freakish vocal range, right? Okay, and then, you know, does this little intro if... There's nothing wrong with just a taste of what you paid for. And that's it. Now, I like to, for all intents and purposes, I guess, is chop off that the reharm of the pre-chorus outro and save it until after coming out of the end of Peacekeeper. Because, you know, that, you know, vocal scream, you know, it's not easy to do, and it's like a big, you know, flashy moment when you do it once. If you do it twice, you know, it doesn't have any power the second time because everyone's already heard it. They're not surprised by it anymore. And I think, you know, it's a great finish. So what I do is go right from the end of the chorus, which is this D7, and I like to throw a sharp 9 in there, although it's not, I don't think it's in the original Panic at the Disco version, and just go right to the beginning of Peacekeeper, which is this, 1-2 alternating, which is done in the both guitar and vocals in Peacekeeper. So the D7 resolves to the G minor. Instead of going to the deceptive resolution, the 6, the E flat, which would be the reharm of the pre-chorus of Mona Lisa. And so it would go like this. Whoa, Mona Lisa, I pay to see you frown. I don't actually sing the vocal part of this for the sake of this segue. We make all of our sons the same. Everyone will suffer the fire we made. And for the end, the way Peacekeeper ends is, kind of repeats the chorus, and Buckingham's doing these great little vocal improvisations. Peacekeeper, Peacekeeper, take your time, and don't be afraid to fight. Love is a sweet surprise. And then there's a repeat of the bridge, although it omits one line, so it's one line shorter. When the night is cold and still, when you thought you'd had your fill, this is not a test, it's not a drill. Take no prisoners, only kill. And it ends on this E flat, which is a 6th chord. So normally this bridge is E flat, D minor. So flat 6, 5 minor, alternating, and then when it goes back into the 3rd verse, it's E flat, F, G minor. So the flat 6, flat 7, 1. But for the ending, it goes to the 4 minor, C minor, D minor, and ends on the E flat, which is again the 6th chord. So we can take advantage of that because The chorus of Ballad of Mona Lisa starts on that exact same chord. But, I hear you saying, Peacekeeper ends on such a quiet note, and the chorus of Mona Lisa is very loud and very bombastic. Well, here's how we take care of that.
Not a test, it's not a drill. Take no prisoners, only kill.
Just start playing the chord progression on this eighth note, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so this is the chord progression of the chorus of the Ballad of Mona Lisa, instrumentally building up power.
Whoa, Mona Lisa, you're guaranteed to run this town. Whoa, Mona Lisa, I pay to see you frown.
And here's where you do the outro.
Say what you mean, tell me I'm right, and let the sun rain down on me. Show me a sign, I wanna believe. Oh! There's nothing wrong with just a taste of what you paid for.
There you go. Two very descriptive, powerful, dark story songs by two fantastically talented artists put together for your listening pleasure and your performing pleasure. As always, steal anything you see here. Feel free to use it in your own shows, however you want. So hopefully you have enjoyed this, and hopefully you've learned something, and I'll see you in the next episode.